Hello, y'all. What is it today? It is the 2nd of December, and I wanted to just throw up another episode of the Real Estate Show because another thing that's happening, I think I alluded to it in past episodes, but it's really important to cover this because it's going to affect the market a lot in some areas and in a negative way, unfortunately. Now, right now, a lot of the biggest homeowner in the country is Blackstone. I think I always get that confused with BlackRock, but it's Blackstone that is the largest. But there's a whole group of other institutional owners that back in the Great Recession, which is the '07, '08 recession, they bought up. I think they were encouraged really by the government to buy up houses so that there wouldn't be as much of a bloodbath in pricing like occurred in the '89, '90, '91 real estate recession. But that turned into a problem, or has turned into a problem, because they continued to buy houses. And now, well, not so much now, but up until about a year and a half ago or so, they were really competing with your everyday buyers in the marketplace. And they even though a lot of those purchases didn't actually make sense on a standalone basis, they're driven by different fundamentals because they're giant companies with investors that are just trying to deploy money. And as long as the overall portfolio is doing well, they just keep buying, and so it is a problem. And what has happened now is, for the most part, they're starting to turn into net sellers, meaning that they're buying less than they're selling. Now, only a few of them were net sellers in 2023. American Homes for Rent, and I think the other one was Invitation. I think it was Invitation Homes. It doesn't really matter, but you see the trend. They're turning into net sellers because they're the smart money. They do the research. They watch what the new home builders are doing. Those are all players that watch each other, and they know that the first one out saves themselves, and the one that's still standing looking for a chair in the game of musical chairs at the end of the day probably goes bankrupt, because they're going to lose all their equity and then some. Because these everything is levered, right? Everybody's using leverage. It's explaining how they're using leverage is the part that takes a long time, but they are using leverage, okay? So you have this situation happening right now where these smart money sellers are starting to come to the market, especially in markets like Texas, where the pain has already set in and prices are already dropping. That's happening pretty much across the state in Texas and in Florida right now. And generally, when real estate corrects, it kind of, in the last three cycles at least, which covers 30 years, it swept from the east to the west, and mostly starting in the southern part of the country. So it's the southeast to the southwest, really. You have some other fundamentals going on in like the northeast that warrant talking about in more detail, but not in this format, not on YouTube, because it's too hard to explain all of the little things that are affecting certain markets up there. But this is something you got to watch out for, because they own about 750,000 homes. If you define institutional owners as owners that own over 100 housing units. Not apartments. I'm talking about condos, PUDs, townhomes, single-family homes, and the like. All right. So this is not. I'm not talking about apartments. That would be, I'd say, multi-res if I was talking about apartments, and that is not the same thing. So this is a problem, and it's going to become a bigger problem if the market starts to suffer. There's still, like in California, there's still a shortage of supply in some areas, so prices have not really corrected. They're probably still growing in certain areas, but it will get here if anything else changes, even in the best markets. It always affects the best markets as well as the worst markets. It just affects the best markets, say like coastal properties, less. So nobody's market is immune from real estate corrections. That's the proof's in the pudding. And this is this housing downturn is going to be way different than the last one, right? They say that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. I love that saying because it's so true when it comes to real estate cycles. This one is going to rhyme, but it's already being led by the smart money, meaning that it is going to, I don't even want to call them smart money, right? But that's just how the people in the industry refer to it. This is going to probably accelerate how fast this cycle goes down, because your primary sellers are probably in most markets going to be, they already are a big part of the market. Are new home sellers, new home builders are a big part of the selling market, and then these institutional owners will start selling because they know they need to get out while they can. And that will, by the time the average consumer or average home buyer, homeowner figures it out, by the time it's in the press and big media starts talking about it, it's too late. That means everybody knows. This, you hear about the early forecasting and things along those lines, like on places like YouTube, or if you read journals that dig into the data. But nobody does that. You have to, pay a subscription for a data. It's so old school. So I like to spread this information because I don't want to see. I want the middle class to grow in this country, and I want to help younger investors and younger home buyers and all of that, so they don't get stung and ruin their credit and suffer for 10 years while they wait to go, from the top of a cycle where they bought down through the trough and then back up the other side, assuming they could even keep their house that long if they overpaid for it at the top of a cycle. It really does seem like we are already past the peak of this cycle. It probably occurred in 2022 around September. So anybody that bought from, from 2021 to 2022 and then even to now is probably severely overpaid. And if you need to sell, think about selling right away so that you can get sold before it's widespread knowledge. Now, it varies from market to market, so look at your market, but just go back to my episode about how prices change and how the market turns. It's I think that the label of the episode is last month's sales comps mean nothing. Or last month's sales mean nothing, because they don't. Those are 4 months old, stale data. So you have to look at, in your market, is there more inventory coming on the market? Have the number of listings that you can look at gone way up? Have those properties sat there a while? How long have they been on the market? The marketing time, that's your indicator of velocity, or how fast things are selling. And then if you start seeing price revisions down, then you really know that you're late. You're late. You're late. You need to get on the market and get sold. If you need to move in the next 2 or 3 years, that's the indication that you've missed the market already and that you're chasing it. So, and for buyers, stay off the market until you see, the other side of whatever is happening right now. This looks like it's going to be a pretty severe downturn. So I just hope that you really pay attention and don't get hurt. So I think I'm going to sign off for now, and we will catch up again. Hopefully I can grab some comments from you all, and like and subscribe if you just want more free data about real estate and the real estate markets. I've been in the markets for 30 years and educated in this, and so I've just seen this over and over again, and it's just really obvious when you're in the industry what's happening. Assuming that you have decent skills with analysis and reasoning and maybe a little finance education in your background, or economics. But let me know what you'd like to see next, and I'm signing off.